rapidly transfer button. How about now? You hear me now? You guys tell me. Alright. So, for those that couldn't hear what I was saying, we're going to be showing some of SPV3.3 today. The campaign in particular. It's not a huge change from what we've had before, but there's a lot of new graphical effects, there's a whole new vehicle health system, and skulls. So I've got a bunch of missions that I wanted to play partially through, so we'll be showing you guys some of that. So the first thing you'll notice is you got all the same missions that we had before, but now you have all these new skulls. So for this one, I wanted to test the meatbag skull. I'll put Fog on and Speed Demon. So what Speed Demon does is speeds the game up. Fog takes away your motion tracker, and Meatbag makes it so you don't have recharging shields. Once your shields are gone, you're relying only on your health, but your health gets a buff. And you know what, let's add ODST on as well. Let's go legendary as we always do. Alright, I'll let you guys choose the loadout. What do you guys want? I'm kind of leaning... I always like the grenade launchers. What do you guys think? I'm not going to use DMR just because I'm streaming. And the DMR is the hardest one to start off on here for. I'll use a DMR later though.
The Covenant believe that what they call the silent cartographer is somewhere under this island.
Yeah, I do like demolitions, but I didn't want to have to face all my shots the whole time.
The island has multiple structures and installations. One of them contains the map room.
We're approaching the LZ. It's gonna be hot. Get set to cut out quick. Touchdown! Hit it, Marine! Go, go, go!
There goes my shield. But now I'll be granted with a lot more health, about 6-7 times the amount of health that you normally have. So you can actually combine this with a Doom mode and get a more classic FPS experience, kind of like you would have with old Doom games. One of the things we tried to do with a lot of these skulls was just mix things up so they play completely different, rather than just, you know, buff enemy health or shields, try to reinvent health systems and things of that nature. So one of the big graphical effects here, you can thank Jazz in the chat. You can check out these new screen space reflections and some of the new ambient occlusion on the floor. So as you move around, these lights will shine directly off the floor and even off your guns. You can see the little bits of orange and the blue, and then flicker as the holograms move. So it really makes this level look spectacular. Fill my grenade launcher, may as well refill my
You
health.
two, we could use a hand.
Okay, let's move out. Let's go find the map room that will show us the location of Halo's control center.
So one of the other big changes that we just implemented in the past few days is a whole new vehicle health system. So now vehicle health is always recharging. It's no longer dependent on your shields. There's a number of reasons for this change, but it does get some of the original Halo 1 vehicle combat behavior in vehicles back, like when you have ghost duels with the Covenant. It's also just a little bit more clear, it's less heavy on our internal scripting system, and it works better with the skulls. That does more damage here than I would have liked. I would have liked to keep my odds health in the blue, but depending on how reckless you get with it. Once you go down to yellow health or red health, you can never get back to blue health. So it kind of goes down in stages now. I'll probably do a YouTube video about it. You know me, I hate doing YouTube videos. So you can see as the vehicle health healed, the fire on the hull went away. And for those of you guys that wanted a DMR, this Marine has one, so we're in luck. Another nice change we made is we restored the brute plasma pistol overcharged fire to back up what it was in 3.1 if it hits a shield or a vehicle, so you no longer get hit and it's instant death. Or you no longer have to run around like a chicken with its head cut off in order to escape the flames. Patch it in the chat here. See, you guys have a lot of questions. So for some of these questions, we're not doing any more campaign missions or anything of that sort. We're doing an open world adventure next. And we don't have any plans for anything in MCC yet, just because the tools and the support isn't there yet. There's also no guarantee with MCC that after an update that your projects won't get wiped, which is kind of what happened to Vengeful Vadim's Reach Evolve. So we're not going to put a lot of effort into anything that could later be erased by and made incompatible by an update to the game. I'm running on an i7 from about 4 years ago. I forget the exact model, and a 1060 with 6 gigabytes at 1080p with everything in SPV3 on full. So cursed SPV3 might actually be a thing in the future. We're looking at doing a way of doing weekly challenges and pushing small updates to the game that don't require any big downloads. So that's something we're going to explore, but we could do some pretty wacky stuff, like changing all the projectiles on different guns, or just, you know, all sorts of weird memory editing tricks that can do like special weekend events and stuff like that. Like one idea is to do Frag Fridays where every enemy throws frag grenades. Things like that. I'll try to read questions here in the chat that are coming up in the stream just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Also, if I don't answer your question, don't hesitate to ask it again, unless somebody tells you not to, like one of the other devs in here. So see, now you see I went down to red health in here. I'm probably going to explode. shade turrets are just super deadly. So I saw someone ask what gameplay changes and balance changes there would be, and there's really not that many. I would say the biggest thing is probably this vehicle health system. So the way it worked in previous releases was that your vehicle would take damage and then transfer to your shield and then restore its original health. So the effect was that if your vehicle basically wouldn't take damage until your shield was down. And here now the vehicle health is always recharging. So where this actually creates some new options for the player is you can actually park your Warthog in an area and the health will keep regenerating, so you can let your gunners keep on shooting. So if I place this over here, assuming the shade turret, yep, there we go, got the shade turret to work to blow it up. So now every time that Warthog gets shot, the damage isn't permanent without the player being in the seat. That was one of the big flaws in, man, that was an embarrassing mess. We see these guys can actually provide covering fire without becoming totally, screwed. So another cool thing that Jazz has added in is adaptive HDR, which is similar to what Halo 3 has. So if you look over here, you're getting the deep blacks and everything that we had before, but when you look up at the sky, it fades as the exposures go back to normal. So you get all sorts of new cool effects like that. Oh, so you can't really see it on this mission, but the new occlusion method sort of semi-creates the effect that you had on the original Xbox and was broken in the PC port. So we'll show that off a little bit later. So why aren't I healing? I actually have a new skull on called the Meatbag Skull, which makes me have, I forget if it's 6 or 7 times as much health as you normally do, but your shields don't regenerate. The only way to regenerate your shield is through an overshield. Christopher Gray wants to know if there's any intention of having wine compatibility with Linux. I believe Jazz is looking into doing it, but I'm mostly a Mac and PC user, so I don't really mess with Linux. But what's kind of cool about this Meatbag Skull is you have to sort of pace yourself and avoid shots and plan your adventure out until you get to your next health pack. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but you can actually leap through these windows. You can really see how there's all these reflections here. It looks really great here. As you move left and right, you can see the reflections on the floor. It's like really pretty. The SSR, the screen space reflections, are really one of my favorite things right here, and Jazz did an awesome job. You can even see as I jump up over here, the yellow light shows up on my gun. Or if I go over here, the sort of cyan blue light shows up on the SMG or the battle rifle. And we'll show off some more of this stuff a little bit later too. Lighting changes in this are huge. That was the biggest complaint about the last release, and even though there's like a lot of complexity to why that went on, we really doubled down on it, and it looks so much better here. Not just in terms of brightness, but just in terms of features. Also, small thing, but sometimes you wouldn't have the HUD. You'd still have part of the HUD show up when you went into these widescreen modes, and that's completely fixed. We have a blind skull, which kind of forced us to reevaluate that whole system we had before. And that blind skull basically just gets rid of all the HUD elements, but keeps your first-person arms, although you can disable those in the launcher.
I want you to use any means necessary to force your way into the facility and find Halo's control center. We have to get to the center.
So the energy sword is not going to be usable in any of the other missions that we have, but it is going to be an option along with the Jackal Shield and the open world project that we have in the works. So you'll be able to use that as a Spartan in there. And you'll be able to use that alongside visor, thermal vision. Instead of having armor abilities, you can stack them, so you can just cycle through different abilities for your suit. So that's a bonus. The health pack should have fully healed me in here. So, Jazz, I know you're watching, if you can just put that in one of our dev channels. But that's why we do testing. There's so many skulls in SPV3.3 that have to be applied to each level individually. It's pretty often that, you know, there are certain things that go wrong. So, I should really be fighting over here, but one thing about the SSR, if you look at the battle rifle right now, you can see that the energy shield, as that line goes through it, is reflecting directly off the gun. You can see that stronger light source going all over the gun. Same here on the SMG. Yeah, sorry, Jazz. Fix the Warthog health packs when the player has meatbag on for TSEE. That's good. I could use a gravity grenade.
Like there is a path into the interior of the island.
Oh crap, that's really not good. Okay, I'm really screwed here. I'm probably not gonna survive. Those shredders really eat through your health. Yeah, I made some tough decisions there. Yeah, so the brutes throw a lot of grenades, but we actually have a skull that turns off grenade throwing completely. Which is a double-edged sword, because yeah, you don't get hit by them, but also then you don't have enemies that stop firing at you to throw a grenade. Yeah, I'm pretty interested in Infinite. Ah, damn it. Got killed. I think it looks really interesting. I'm just not very faithful in this delay and how long it's taken and all the everything going on around the development. But I think it looks like a fun, interesting game. So, in that aspect, I'm really excited for it. And I'm glad it's not really open world, because that way I get to do our open world. Yeah, Path of Health Recharge is going to stay as an armor ability, but when you have the meatbag skull on, it doesn't do anything unless you get an overshield. Yeah, I can only take a little bit more damage here. I gotta avoid every shot. I was saying earlier when some of you weren't in the stream yet, but a lot of what we're trying to do with the skulls is find ways to make you fundamentally have to rethink how you approach Halo. So things like the meatbag skull, getting rid of the shield when you really does change things. But these are obviously not required. You can play the missions exactly as you would before, as they were intended to. But you can have stuff like weaker shields, but they're ones that are always constantly recharging instead of having to wait. So it's a little bit more Call of Duty-like in the health system. And this is a little bit more like retro Doom versus regular Halo. But this is going to be a really tough... Yeah, I can only take like 1 or 2 shots. So best to use the grenade launchers. Damn it. Run. So yeah, I'm dumb for letting myself get into a combat situation like this. Damn it, yeah, I can only take like a single needle. Yeah, that's dead. Let's go see if we have a better way of doing this. There we go. Damn it, and here we go again. Alright, let's see if we can come up with a new strategy here. So testing right now is open to the public, so anyone can join our Discord and then join in on the public beta. Oh crap, I left these guys. So yeah, I got myself in a pickle here. I just tried my hog with the health packs. But I guess we'll go to a different mission then and show off some other skulls. Because that's what I was mainly looking at to make sure Meatbag here was working anyway. So, hey Jazz, what's going on here with the... How'd we break the post-processing here, Jazz? I don't have a new compile of 2 betrayals yet. There's going to be some new weapons and other stuff not in the campaign. The campaign only gets the incineration cannon as a new weapon. If I go back into the game, will I have it? What's going on here with the... Yeah, hold on. Just gotta reboot the stream because something went on with the game. Not sure why quitting the mission There we go. Stream should be back. There we go. We're still doing a lot of work with the post-processing systems, so issues should be expected. But this is why we do public tests. Okay, so let's go over the skull. So we have the 4 eyes, which you guys might remember. This has actually been changed so your vision's only blurry when your shields are down and your health takes damage, so it's not as annoying before. Spite, which makes it so shooting your weapon damages your shield. This one actually has to be changed. This is just going to make it so enemies don't throw grenades. Speed Demon, which increases the speed of the game. Keys makes it so vehicles can't be piloted. Awareness gets rid of any ability of stealth. Fog gets rid of the motion tracker. We can turn this one on too. Meatbag is what I was showing before. Unity has the Flood and Covenant and Sentinels all against you. So let's not do that for Maw. Blind takes off the HUD. Jeb makes Covenant plasma weapons always during their battery. This bitmap has to be fixed. I have to recompile it. But basically this gets rid of recharging vehicle health. Energizer allows your shields to recharge faster, but they're not as strong, and ODST slows your base movement speed. So let's use these 4 for this test. And I'm just gonna do, should I do heroic or legendary? I'm gonna go with legendary. So here we have the adaptive HDR again. You can see it going, like we were saying earlier. It still needs some tweaking, but, you know, that's what betas are for. And like I said, we have this all open in public beta, so you guys can actually play all of this today if you really want to.
From there, we can use the captain's neural implants to initiate an overload of the ship's fusion engines.
If you guys don't know, you can find a hidden battle rifle grenade launcher over here. So if Amigos Gaming wants to know if the Keys skull makes it impossible to do 2 betrayals, and I guess by extension Maw, since you can't use the vehicles, but it actually creates teleporters for you to use instead. So you can still do those missions. We added some extra stuff in for that skull. So Glenn wants to know if the changing of the difficulties actually alters AI, and the answer is yes. It changes a bunch of their behaviors, and it also changes some of the damage. So if you notice here, my shields are always charging with the Energizer skull, but my shields can't take as much damage. So you can get in and out of combat faster, again, kind of like Call of Duty, but you can't take as much punishment as you would before. Yeah, I mean, this update is really for a lot of the fans. This gives you more ways to go back and play the campaign missions than you ever had before. It's crazy enough, the first release of the first 6 missions was 4 years ago. So it's been a while. So people are still playing and still want to have fun with it. Oh, so this is relatively minor, but this texture over here used to be like super tiled because of the way Bungie set up the unwraps on their original models, which we have to use, but I found a way to kind of break those unwraps. So now it looks a lot better. But you'll see more of that later and stuff like the Hangar Base. I would say Noble is more like a fair version of Halo 2's Legendary. Ma still has the same darkness, but some of the way that it deepens the blacks is different. So it's a little bit more of a complicated question than just is it brighter or darker? The answer is yes and no. But for most people, it should be easier to play. Stuff was also changed as far as like some of the reflective surfaces too. So your flashlight seems like it's a little bit brighter when it hits certain surfaces, which is a lot bit nicer too. Flamethrower has been in it since 3.1. And Prometheans are going to be in the open world project we're working on. We're basically going to be flipping the Flood and the Sentinels, where the Flood will be as rare as the Sentinels are in the regular campaign, and the Prometheans will be as common as the Flood are, with the Covenant still being the main enemy. The grenade launcher will be in the open world project, but right now it's just planned only for Lemuria, for the campaigns. Still got chewed up. I can see everything perfectly fine here. If it looks too dark to you, it's probably your computer settings. I mean, we do have very dark areas in our game. That's just the way we designed it. To go more flood horror in certain areas, and you know, more traditional lighting in others.
The bridge. We made it. Let's get to work.
Oh, that jerk. Soy is actually on our team, so I mean, he you know, brings some of his own flavor to things, but I try not to copy what he does, just because I like his mod rightfully should be its own thing. You can see some of these screen space reflections over here too of the food touchscreens reflecting on the floor. So yeah, the Amp DMR and Silence Pistol is in Truth and Reconciliation. That's the only instance right now where Lemuria weapons are available in the I-04 stuff. Another maggot wants to know what I think of the new infinite weapons.
made it.
I think
Let's
it's
get to
kind of, I mean, I guess for a lack of better words, silly that they're basically taking the Halo 2 Magnum and just giving it a whole new model and name when it seems functionally identical to the Halo 2 pistol. The Bulldog, I would like that to exist alongside the regular shotgun, but you know, just kind of weird that they want to get rid of those things, especially after they so quickly backtracked on the rocket launcher in Halo 5. And I like the new rocket launcher in Halo 5 too, for that matter. I just think it's weird that they seem to so quickly retreat on having it, and now they're doing the same thing again. Oh, so another cool thing you can do, and this will be available via UI later, but you can choose your Spartan armor now. So if you don't like the SPV3 armor, you can use this remastered Halo 1 armor. You won't have to enter in any commands or anything in the final game. You'll just pre-select it in the UI or in the launcher.
I leave home for a few days and look what happens. This won't take long. There. That should give us enough time to make it to a lifeboat and put some distance between ourselves and Halo.
And you can also switch to Soy's Master Chief that he had in his Old Lords project.
I'm afraid that's out of the question.
So again, you won't have to use commands in the final game unless you want to do what I'm doing right now. We'll leave that kind of dev functionality in there. But the Mark V, which I'm normally not a fan of, I think came out really well. A couple people contributed to this. Mortis did a custom normal map for it. Waffles touched up the original model, or Jakey as he goes by now.
Oh, hell.
Ridiculous! That you would imbue a warship's AI with such a wealth of knowledge? Weren't you worried it might be captured or destroyed?
He's in my data array.
Dial 20 for Gibberish wants to know what's the most exciting addition you made in the 3.3 update. So there's really not that many changes in it, but I think they're all pretty significant. It's hard for me to choose which one I like the best. I think the ray tracing and the new ambient occlusion, which makes the normal maps pop out more, is really nice, but Skulls really add a lot more gameplay to it. And the new vehicle health system, I think, will alleviate a bunch of issues too. So those are the three I definitely think make the biggest impact. I don't know if I have a favorite one.
He stopped a self-destruct sequence.
Why do you continue to fight us?
The SPV3 armor is still my favorite one.
Give us the construct, and I will endeavor to make your death.
I have to fix this one. If you look on the
At least I still have control
chest,
over
you
the
can
pump
see
channels.
Where is it?
Convected
I'm detecting
Chief.
cracks throughout the ship. Most likely. As for the monitor,
If you look at some of the silver parts of his metal, you see
he's
the
an
rubber
engineer.
detail map.
He must be trying to take the core offline. Even if I could get the countdown restarted, I don't know what to do.
How much fire? How would you crack one of the engine shields?
Not much. A well-placed grenade, perhaps, but why?
SPV3 Chief is still my favorite Chief.
Okay, I'm coming with you. Chief, Sentinels!
But we've all seen that before, so let's just go with the Mark V. But there's some plans for other armors too. We were just talking the other day about making it possible to use the ODST armor. And also to have the sound cartographer evolve original Master Chief.
Should be able to get to the engine room
And maybe
from
do
there.
some touch-ups with that. See what we can do to somewhat fix it. It's always going to kind of look bad, but One of the nice things about the Energizer skull is that if the infection forms really bother you, they can't do much to you anymore. So the battle rifle that has the grenade launcher has the blue sights. Someone was asking about the battle rifle changes. And no, there's not going to be any other armors for other characters. Gon Solo wants to know about uninstalling the game because he had no space. You should be able to reinstall it fine, but if you join our Discord, we can help you. Biggest technical challenge for 3.3 is easily the post-processing stuff that Jazz worked on. There's no iron sights other than on the Lemuria battle rifle. I have a bit of flamethrower in here somewhere. I forget where it is. Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's nice to hear, Gon Solo. We really designed this to be as replayable as possible. Yeah, infection forms can affect dead bodies. The silenced BR should always be firing in 3-round bursts. Only the Lemuria one should be doing 4-round bursts. Are you sure you're not getting confused with those? Someone was asking about the silenced battle rifle doing 4-round bursts. That should never happen. I know it doesn't happen in this. Yeah, the open world project is still in CE. It's an extension of SPV3. So, same basic DNA. How did we design the Sentinel weapons, and which way do you mean? I really like the blue one, but it can't use it for long engagements. So little in fact, you can actually go for the headshots on sentinels. If you hit their eye, you just gotta blow off the armor, or get the shot right in between it. The more armor you blow off, the easier it is to headshot. In terms of map size, you can do some pretty big maps. I mean, we're still pushing limits. Most of the restrictions are more memory-based than size-based. Didn't mean to pick that up. Those are the hidden Cortana logs. This hallway is going to be really tough. What's up, Toad? Look at the comments. What headshot comment was that? Oh, about the Sentinels. No, that's unique to SPV3. I'm not fully understanding your question, Derek. In regards to Infinite, or... Wait, is YouTube identifying it as killing floor? Damn it. Tough. Get in here. So for those that don't know, the reason why I'm dying so easily is because I have a skull on that makes my shields about 50% weaker, but lets them charge faster. But this is one of those places where you really need that extra durability of the shield to push on through. Damn it. Let's see what we can do here. But this is the point of skulls like this, to put new twists on it, to create new challenges for you to have to figure out ways through. You know, even for me, trying to figure it out is difficult. If I had gravity grenades, it'd be great. Oh, now I'm really screwed. That was dumb of me. No, this stream will stay up. Barring any really embarrassing disasters with it. There we go, checkpoint. Yeah, the overshields don't give you as much health as you did before either. But they do allow your shield to regenerate. And now that I have my shield back, as long as I don't let it deplete, it'll keep on recharging. The Discord can be found on our Twitter, which is at Halo SPV3. As far as this update, it's mostly skulls, graphic fixes, and bug fixes, and now a new vehicle health system. I always love this little setup here with the flares. The funny thing about this, I was trying to figure out better ways to better navigate the player through here, so I'm like, oh, let's just drop some lights here and make them flicker, since these areas are so small. There should be more. Oh, shit, I was about to say, I thought there were more float pods there. Damn it, I lost my shield. Yeah, that's really shocking. It's been a while since I played some of these. Like, really played them. Like, other than just going in and... So, fun little fact, the reason why these rocks are here is because we didn't have the original source mods to take out the Covenant lifeboats. So the idea was if we just put the rocks here, it would look like when the ship crashed, like dirt came in, dirt and stone. And so far, I've never had anybody complain about it. So, I guess it worked. Interesting. See you later, Tech. Yeah, so fun fact, these are all actually proximity based. Pretty much every flood pod is proximity based, so you can make your way. You can not set any off. I like this little setup here too. You can just see the lights there and know that's where you have to go. Over here you can even see some of the yellow on the floor reflecting off the gun, those little hazard strip lights. Or the lights over here on the pink hands, on the oxygen tanks. Or even there, that plasma grenade, cluster grenade showed up. It's always funny when I try to rush through my own areas and then realize, like, I put things in there so I couldn't do that. What mission do you guys want to see next? Assault in the control room, Halo. I basically got what I needed to test in this mission. Cheeseburger, that's a long question, but the best place would be the Halo CE Reclaimers Discord and HaloMaps.org to learn. Firefight is working, but I haven't recompiled it in a while. Firefight is kind of, I don't know, the black sheep of the project. Like, it works and it's entertaining, but no one really likes it. Like, I don't know, I just don't think fighting wave after wave of enemy is as fun as what you can do in something like a campaign or something more dynamic. You can only spend so much time in the same area having fun. So, like, we're still gonna finish it and release it, but it's definitely not a focus like it was before. Or, which one do you think makes changes more noticeable? Oh, which map? probably show Firefight off in another stream. I have to go in and make sure everything works. I can't remember the last time I even booted it up. Oh, here we go. I need a shotgun. Let's go to assault in the control room. Alright, so let's figure out some other skulls to do. Ooh, we could do Spite. Spite makes things pretty difficult. I'll do Fog. I could do Awareness. There's some good stealth stuff in an assault and control room, though. No more Mantis Skull. We could do Jeb. I'll do ODST. I guess we could try Reaper, because if... Actually, I do need to test Reapers. I need to make sure it works on the Banshee and the Grizzly. Alright, so let's do Spite, Fog, Jeb, ODST, and Reaper. Yeah, that's nice to hear, Heman. I can't even say your name. But, yeah, we plan on supporting for SPV3's campaign for a while. One second, I have to answer a text. And then I can get started, sorry. Alright, and we're back. Alright, did you guys choose a loadout yet? So KFC Fryer, that was never for SPV3, that armor. We were never intending on using it, but it will be back as an optional armor in 3.3. At least that's the plan. The open world project, we'll probably put more out when we have more concrete stuff to say. Well, I always let you guys choose the loadout, but I forgot to mention it because I got texted.
our way to the control center from here. Good luck. Bullhammer out.
So with the Reaper Skull, you have unlimited grenades, but only when you have shields. So mixing that with Spite is pretty dangerous. So I can always choose whichever grenade I want. But this setup I have right now is really going to restrict me with shields because my shields won't recharge until I stop firing my gun. And throwing a grenade also depletes my shield. But keep in mind, you could also mix this up with Energizer so your shields can come back faster too. So there's a bunch of different ways to mix this up. The skulls really add a lot of new replayability. I mean, it really slows the game down, but part of the hard thing with the skull, though, is it's so much in my muscle memory of when to throw a grenade when I play Halo. The idea that there's a penalty to it.
The Covenant presence here is stronger than I anticipated. They seem to have the entire region secured.
But it's also kind of cool is I have the slower movement speed here, like ODST. So if you look at this, it's 82% of the regular speed, so moving around enemies, dodging fire, it's all more difficult like ODST is.
Interesting. The weather patterns here seem natural, not artificial. I wonder if the ring's environment systems are malfunctioning.
See, if
Or
I had the
designers
awareness
wanted
skull
the
on here,
installation to have inclement
I
weather.
wouldn't be able to sneak up on these
This
dudes.
is Fire Team Zulu. Can anyone hear me? We got Covenant all over us. Can anyone hear me? Over.
I didn't think there were any human forces left on this part of the ring.
Cortana to Fire Team Zulu. I read you. Fire Team Zulu, this is Cortana. Hold position. We're
I
on
wish I
our
had
way.
taken stealth weapons with me on this.
Roger that. With all
Loadout
due respect.
given.
Step on it, baby.
Aware of the abuse of this one. Where is the Banshee? That's strange. Oh crap, I forgot I have Jeb Skull on. So this thing already depleted. Luckily when the Banshee comes, we get with the rocket. You gonna shoot me, bro? Like, come on. Get your attention, you Banshee? What are you doing? Come on. Smart little shit. Oh, let me check out what this is. Yeah, so the ODST one makes you have the movement speed of the ODSTs. Yeah, I think we are the only one where you can hijack a turret. And 1050 will be nice. Hey, what's up, Nav? I haven't seen you around in a while. Yeah, I have a 1060 on my machine. Oh, come on. That should not have killed me.
The weather patterns here seem natural, not artificial. I wonder if the ring's environment systems are malfunctioning.
My own fault.
The designers wanted the installation to have inclement weather.
Funny with the turret hijacking is the only reason it's in here is if we just reuse the ghost hijacking animation.
I didn't think there were any human forces.
And that's like
left.
the only reason it exists.
Cortana to Fire Team Zulu. I read you. Fire Team Zulu, this is Cortana. Hold position. We're on our way.
Roger that. With all due respect, step on it, baby.
As you see here, it's draining automatically. That's what the Jeb Skull does. Damn it, again. Okay, third time's a charm.
Interesting. The weather patterns here seem natural, not artificial. I wonder if the ring's environment systems are malfunctioning. Or if the designers wanted the installation to have inclement weather.
This is Fire Team Zulu. Can anyone hear me? We got Covenant all over us. Can anyone hear me? Over.
I didn't think there were any human forces left on this part of the ring.
Cortana to Fire Team Zulu. I read you. Fire Team Zulu, this is Cortana. Hold position. We're on our way.
Roger that.
That's why I take care of the elites.
Step on it, baby.
This guy's still sleeping. Bye. I think I just triggered the other elite. Unless that was the one the Banshee I just picked up. Yeah, this skull is kind of our take on the foreign skull that was in CEA, but at least gives those weapons a little bit of use. Kills me. Jesus Christ. I'd be super pissed. I'm pretty sure we just got that elite. And I got the checkpoint. Hard to tell from my altitude, but that looks like a dead elite. So we can't have co-op support in SPV3 because we stripped all the co-op code away to make room for new stuff. And MCC, in addition to just having a terrible port of Halo 1, doesn't support all the features of this game, and a lot of the features of this game wouldn't make sense to port over to it, since they were really hacked in anyway. So things like open source, there's no point of porting over when you have access to the source code, which Cornman does. So, you know, you basically be porting over an inferior product when a better one can be made, but that better one wouldn't necessarily work with everything SPV3 has. Yeah, the MCC Halo 1 port also has so many bugs in it, it's really bad. I really hope they improve it, because right now it's like borderline. Well, Halo 1 and MCC right now is, you know, arguably worse than it was when the MCC came out in 2014. Like, sure, you can find games, but the campaign is even more broken than it was before. Like, every sound is broken. Weapon behavior is broken, input is broken. I mean, it's got 4K, which is cool, but... Gearbox didn't break the light maps or the shaders. I mean, Gearbox did a rather decent job of porting it over. I know people like to shit on them, but honestly, they did a good job for the time, for the hardware they had to target. And stuff like the bump mapping being broken, it's not really broken, it's just removed. They intentionally removed it because of the hardware that they had to run it on. So, don't buy into the narrative that Gearbox was this, you know, big, bad, incompetent dev with it. They certainly could have done a better job, but the things that people complain about aren't really justified, especially when it's Bungie who gave them the okay on everything they saw. Because Bungie was overseeing that port, not Microsoft, not Gearbox. These aren't exactly the sniper jackals from Halo 2, but... Holy crap, Hunter. What are you doing? Ah! Why the MCC port is so bad? I think over-ambition with bringing it to PC. I can't really say I even agree with them bringing MCC to PC. Those games should have been fixed on the Xbox first and then brought over, instead of this port it over and fix it later thing they're doing. And then, because every time right now they keep updating these games for the Xbox, they keep breaking them more for the, keep updating the games to the PC, the more they break them on Xbox. Damn it. Too slow to take on these hunters. Yeah, the ODST skull makes the hunters really hard. You just can't move away from them like you would have before. And people say the Needler's no good in Halo 1. There was never a Spartan 94 associated with us. I've never even heard that name before. Yeah, the Halo 3 update is a little bit better, but it's still pretty broken. I mean, CE is especially bad. Halo 3 is probably right now the best one in the game, but performance in 1 and 2 is down. Reach's sound is still broken and has, I believe, still has some gameplay issues. Yeah, hunters are freaking scary with the ODST skull on. No, the Halo 1 physics stuff is pretty tied down to, you know, the vehicles. Oh, splash damage isn't doing anything anymore with MCC. I think they're only using Saber. Splash damage, yeah, I've talked to people from splash damage before, and they have nothing to do with it right now. So sound and reach on the PC is fixed, but I think they're just, well, it's not really fixed, they're just using whatever solution they had for Halo 3, but it's still not on par with the original Xbox version. But it is better than what it was like before the last release. Oh man, talking about Halo 2 and what I would do for the thing that I kind of mapped out. Would be a long talk, but it was basically a little bit of First Strike with more Earth-based Halo 2 stuff, like Chief basically going to the basis, the moon, going through like the Burial Mound style environments and getting a Covenant ship to come back to Earth, and then seeing it under attack and exploring 400 runes on Earth that the Covenant were unearthing. That was basically it in a nutshell. Yeah, you can make vehicles that look like scenery objects. We do that in a few places too, but it just doesn't really work well. Yeah, I have a document that outlines what I would do for a First Strike adaptation. I also have one for Contact Harvest. I mean, they're adaptations, so they're not one-to-one. They would retcon the books in a few ways, but you kind of have to do that when you do a game and you want to have lots of fun missions and you know, the freedom to do creatively what's good for a game versus what's in a book. But you can still be respectful of that source material too. And great. Look at something else. Yeah, the 3.3 open beta is still going on. Okay, so the big updates in 3.3 are screen space reflections and better ambient occlusion. You have skulls, which we're playing this mission with right now, which is why I'm moving through it so slowly, because I have a bunch of stuff on that, like the ODST skull, which slows your movement speed, the spite skull, so my shields aren't recharging each time I fire my weapon. I've got the Jeb skull on, which makes all the Covenant weapons quickly drain their battery really quickly. And I have the Fog skull on, which gets rid of the motion tracker. So, talking about that post-processing stuff. Oops, that's not the one. That's an SSR command. And that's the other one. So, we're talking about how there's new ambient occlusion and the broken normal maps from the Gearbox port. So, we can now have ambient occlusion, which is like the shadows you see over here inside of the... See how there's like kind of shadows here in the corner over there? Like right over there? If you look on the floor in SPV3.2, it would only affect the corners and stuff like that. Now it affects the butt maps on the ground. So it's not what we had on the Xbox, but it creates a somewhat similar effect. So that's it with it off. This is how it would have looked in 3.2. In fact, this is exactly how it would have looked in 3.2. And now when I unpause it, you're going to see what it looks like in 3.3. So it's a pretty big difference. I never thought about Ghost of Onyx, but to be honest, we're done with the campaign maps. The next thing is the open world, and then we're probably done other than bug fixes. So you can see my vehicle took some damage, but the health will recharge. Assuming I don't take enough damage. I couldn't hit more of those Marines over there, but oh well. There'll be more. So now you can see my vehicle health has gone back up to full blue. Well, it was until I got shot again. So we just wanted the Banshee to be red in 3.2, just because we were kind of going with something more like the shade turrets and the shadow, but people keep getting confused with it being banished. So I just reverted it back to purple, especially now that the banished are going to be a lot more prominent going forward with Halo. And no, we're not really interested in the other games. I mean, I'm not a fan of them. I don't really like 2, 3, or Reach at all. I think Vengeful of Adam's Reach Evolved does 90% of what I would want to see if I were to do something for Reach anyway. So even though there's a few things like, obviously, you know, this is a knock against him, but anyone who makes their own thing, you know, is going to want to do a few things differently. But I would say like about 90% of what's in Reach Evolved is, you know, stuff that I would want to do too. So I leave that to him, and Halos 2 and 3 I just have zero interest in ever touching unless we have really good tools, and even then I wouldn't want to. I don't think there's much you can do to fix those games.
See, they're not so tough. Got that right.
2, 3, and Reach are my least favorite of the Halos, so. Should I do tank or hog? That's great. Let's take the shadow. You know, cheats don't work in this. Oh wow, this thing is really weak. Actually, I'm just gonna reverse the checkpoint so I can get all my... Huh, that's interesting. Why is my pause menu not working? So, Jay's Cafati, we actually have ray tracing in this update. So, that's in here for the screen space reflections. Alright, everybody. All aboard. We're pretty limited on what we can do with faces in this game. That's just the sad reality of it, whether it's Cortana or Johnson. Yeah, you can't really see the ray tracing when we're outdoors and stuff that well. Maybe when we get out of combat, I'll see if I can show some off. Why do I think 2, 3, and Reach are the worst? Worst mission design, worst gameplay. I'm not really a fan of anything that they did. I think Halo 2 does some really good storytelling, even though I don't like the story at all in it. But, you know, the way they built their environments, their music, their cinematics, I think in Halo 2 was really good. But, I mean, gameplay, I don't know if it's as bad as Reach. They're both pretty bad. I'd probably put Reach in gameplay a little bit above Halo 2. Yeah, so the Grizzly tank being hard to land your shots was a really weird bug related to animations in the player seat when they were in there, which came from us trying to get the Marines to drive the tanks at one point. So, that was a really weird bug. Well, Halo 2, definitely the environments and the storytelling and the atmosphere. Halo 3, I like its lighting system. I think that's it for Halo 3. I guess I like the scale that they were able to pull off in it too. I mean, it was cool to see that as a next-gen game. I mean, these hunters are really wrecking me. Great, I just got a checkpoint. I meant to go hog. Halo 3 is kind of, like, to me, like a really bad, dumb Michael Bay movie. Like, it's got some cool action, set pieces, and some really cheap, like, action and emotion, but it's pretty soulless. CE Anniversary is infinitely more complicated. My sloppiness earlier with the tank really screwed me up. But now we got a Gauss Hog, so. So you know what's funny about Halo 3 is they almost didn't put the Flood in that game at all, which is why they're like isolated to like those 2 or 3 missions, because players hated the Flood so much and they hated the Flood, they were just like ready to write them out, so they kind of just made them like a footnote for free, more out of like obligation than anything else. They had like 2 or 3 people doing all the Flood work. I remember when Halo 3 came out, the rumors were that there was a mission in there even worse than the library near the end of the game, and that was Cortana.
Don't bother getting up.
Pretty dark mark on it. I've never really fully played through Soy's single-player adventure just because I didn't want to steal ideas from it, kind of. Like, Soy's a good friend of mine, and I do want to play it, but it's also kind of a conflict of interest. If I see stuff in there that I really like, then it's like, oh, we should do that here. Then it takes away the uniqueness of SPV from his thing if we borrow ideas from it for SPV3. Although maybe we'll do some stuff with it for Legacies, but... screwed. We're definitely not making out of this alive.
You like that? Nice shot. Whoa! Stay on target. Somebody got it. Get me an angle. Oh! Hit. I'm only burned. I can't get him off! Keep it up! Check that!
Why are Halo 4 Comet my favorite to fights in CE? Because they're basically the CE ones, and all the damage is really tuned well. They give you a good chance to fight back against. The encounters with them aren't as quick to kill you as 2-3 or Reach. I mean, a lot of the damage is the same as Reach, but with Sprint in there, I think there's some slight shield buffs to the player too. It's easier to escape and re-attack. 4 is easily my favorite full game sequel after 1. I don't know if I like 4 ODST more
You like that?
overall. Crap.
Fire in the hole! You like that?
Damn it, lost the Marines. No, there hasn't been any updates to the AI in this. They're the same.
Stay on target!
Oh wow, that chaser is gonna chew me up.
Keep it steady! Oh. Who's the man? Over here! Let me out!
Man, I'm really getting chewed up here. Well, we're not updating the campaign anymore after this, so this is the last time we're going to be doing updates to the campaign. The next stuff is going to be the open world project, which will have the Prometheans, but we're going to be doing the Watchers instead of drones. We did consider drones, though. I think Infinite looks interesting. I'm worried about its production. I see a lot of smoke, and it's pretty obvious to me that things haven't been going well with it.
Can't hide from me!
So, we'll see, but, you know, that gameplay demo looked fun, even if it looked embarrassingly ugly.
Some backup! Oh, yeah.
So in the open world game, you can upgrade the rocket launcher to fire both tubes at once, but as far as, you know, variants of the rocket launcher, although I really like the Halo 5 rocket launcher design, which was based off the Marathon one. There's nothing conclusive that Gearbox broke AI for the PC port. Now that there's that leaked build of Halo 1 out there, we'll probably learn a little bit more about how their AI evolved over time, but nothing I've seen has conclusively led me to believe that the AI is broken.
Keep it steady!
And Janice, that's not accurate. They didn't break the graphics, they changed them intentionally
You can do!
for the PC port. So it all seems to be intentional. Nothing really broken other than a couple of bitmaps, like the assault rifle and the flagpole.
Get him off me, man!
The Banished are really cool. I really like the Banished.
Smooth now. There it is. Ow! Get up.
Damn it, just lost the blast shield on my gun.
Here comes more. Cover fire. You need some? Oh yeah, baby. Stay on target.
Yeah, I see you guys posting in the chat, but it's gonna be a bit difficult for me to. Holy crap. See, I look at the chat for 1 second and I run into that whole gang. And I'm definitely through here. So, Brutals, they intentionally downgraded the graphics for the PC port because the Xbox hardware was superior to that of many PCs at the time. And also, the Xbox had some customized hardware in it too that made replicating some of the effects very difficult to do on the PC. I mean, and there's some of those effects, including audio, which exist in Halo PC beta builds, but not in the final game. Should have taken a rocket hog. I've never been a fan of the Gauss hog. I know like you have, but I'm just like in general the Gauss hog in general I've never been a huge fan of. The nice thing is the new vehicle health system, the Shadows, are actually pretty big threats to the hogs. Damn it. I'm having fun with this though. Yeah, that issue you're talking about, the mammoth, is just not the AI's issue. That's a mammoth issue. The Gauss Hog and the Rocket Hog are common because we like them. And they're not really that much stronger than the Chain Gun Hog. They all excel at different things. Alright, I'm taking this ghost. I'll show the SSR and then we'll jump over to another mission. Wow, never mind. Take care, Brutals. If I wasn't streaming, I would probably clear out that bottom area and snipe dudes out. Or not use the DOS hog
There's more where that
for the
came
situation.
from. Nice shot. Oh man.
Damn it, every time I look away at the chat. And Halo 4's AI is identical to that of Halo Reach's. There is no difference. And yeah, Halo 3, if there was a game that should be called Lost Opportunities, it's called Halo 3. Really not a fan of how lazy it is. Yeah, we really saturated some of these areas with a lot of enemies here. The Gauss Hog is like the worst hog to have for the situation too. The Gauss Hog is really meant for taking out individual targets, like wraiths and shit, not masses of enemies. But if we can get past this wraith over here. Crap, we got the shade turrets up there shooting at us too. Fuel rod shade turrets. And we got the Brute Chieftain over here too. Damn it. Alright, next mission. That's interesting. Where's my map? That's my keyboard, guys.
Keep it steady.
There we go. So let's go over to another mission. What else have I recently compiled? Let's go to... Let's do Fog, Speed Demon, Pinata. ODST and Energizer.
Chief? Chief, can you hear me? At last. Are you all right? Can you move?
It's him.
Big Karen, 0 chance ever of this coming to MCC. And of
Yeah,
course,
those
the graphic, the new stuff failed here.
There's nothing we can do.
So this is what it looks like with the post-processing. Let me check something here. What is going on with some of these graphic settings? I don't know why it failed, but we're gonna have to reboot the game. So let me just restart it. Actually, let me just recompile a map real quick. So fire grenades were something we thought about, and we had for our ODST game, but we got rid of, and the splinter grenades won't be coming in. We do have an idea for a really interesting Forerunner grenade that's like a cross between equipment and a grenade. So we'll do those in the future for the open world project. Alright, let's reload the game. The game didn't crash, I just closed it for a second to recompile something. So what did we say we're gonna do? Pinata, Speed Demon, Fog. Let's do Meatbag actually. And we'll do ODST as well.
Chief? Chief, can you hear me? At last. Are you alright? Can you move?
There we go, now the post-processing is all here. As it should be.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, okay,
We could use your help, sir.
So I'll go with the DMR here. Assault rifle.
Warning. I've detected multiple Covenant dropships on approach. I
So the
recommend
Speed
moving
Demon
into those
skull is
areas.
speeding everything up, so everything's gonna happen a little bit faster. You're basically have less time to do reactions.
Alert! Covenant
to things.
dropship inbound.
You can see some of the SSR here on the gun. It reflects off the sky and the trees.
I disabled the
And over here, the green grass.
Other
And over here, the
probably
brown.
made it down too. We should search the files.
Favorite UNSC weapon edition? Probably the Lemuria assault rifle. Yeah, Tiosha, that's all the same in Halo 4. And yeah, no, none of this was a crash. I intentionally shut the game down. The post-processing crashed for some reason, but the game was fine.
We could use your help, sir.
So
I'm heading
firefight's
right
only
for
one
the
person,
next hill.
and
Check
there
to
is
see
no
if there are any
ability to lower the
survivors.
crosshair. I don't know if anybody is working on an external CE mod for it, but there's nothing we can do on our end for that.
There he is. Good to see you, sir. Welcome to the party.
Now that's the way to do it. It's a mess, sir. We're scattered all over this map.
So, I wasn't a fan, Matthew, of how Reach did the ranks. I thought it was really convoluted on how many they had, so we just dumbed it down to minors and majors, and the majors having the arm shields. There's no need to have 4 ranks of the same enemy that all are basically the same thing and are so rare.
Look sharp! Covenant dropship on approach! I could use some help over here!
Yeah, the DMR is easier to use. We made some changes to it. I might actually add some bullet drop into it. So CEA does a whole different networking model to support that co-op feature. It's kind of weird how it works. Basically, it's kind of sending input from one game to the other. It's a bit hard to describe. Man, I was 1 second too late to save him.
Check.
Yeah, that'll teach him.
I think dual wielding is a fine idea. I just don't think the games have really done it effectively. Bungie's always done some pretty dumb stuff with it. Like making the damage be lower when you dual wield for each individual gun. Rather than focusing on accuracy, reload times, things like that. Ah, damn, I need to pick up that health back. I haven't played Doom Eternal. I was kind of mixed on the first one, so I was waiting for it to come to Game Pass. But maybe I'll pick it up. Expansions are really harassing. Nice job, Johnson.
This is Fire Team Charlie. We read you.
Alright, there we go.
Roger, Fire Team Charlie. Good to hear from you. Foehammer, we need transportation to the command.
So, the Spiker I've never really been a fan of. We had the Brute Needler asset, or the alternate Needler asset, which became the Brute Needler, which I retrofitted because this became more of an interesting version of the Spiker, but then I actually found the usage for the Spiker in Lemuria, making it not so much of a regular sidearm, but a heavy weapon like the LMG.
Okay, Charlie Team, Warthog deployed. Saddle up and give them hell. Roger, Foehammer. Stand by to evac survivors and transport them to safety. That's affirmative.
What made me want to do SPV3? Honestly, the answer is I've always been interested in Halo modding because when Halo 2 came out, I was so disappointed by it. I wanted something else better to play. And there was nothing else out there, so I just started trying to make it. And then just became a hobby and where we are now.
I can relay
There is no older design for the BR.
Nice one.
Someone asking why we don't use the older design. This has always been our battle rifle design.
How's that feel? You like that?
This cave is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere.
So I don't think Infinite's gonna have that automatic headshot weapon that you think it does. I think it's just a regular rifle. But I mean, I'm curious to see how it goes. I kind of hesitant about it, but we'll see. And JJ01, yeah, 0117 is asking me both contribute to the project over the years. It's got to be at this point like 40 people. But I mean, keep in mind everything we're doing here has been built on tons of people's different projects and our own projects, and you know, everything you see in SPV3 has some sort of legacy in Halo CE going back from the day it came out. So yeah, technically the needle rifle is an automatic headshot weapon. So, who earlier was asking about SSR in here? So here you can see that these lights over here reflect off the floor as I move. Especially like over here, you can see these ones going. But it's all really cool stuff. If I walk up to this shield generator, you can see the reflections on the gun. And you can see as the shield pulses, the light pulses on the gun too. So, dudes, we canceled SPV2, but all the beta builds are available in our Discord. Which you should probably join, because I've seen you around enough to know you're a pretty big fan. Alright. Let's get you back in here, buddy.
Punch it.
It's funny, with the Speed Demon Skull, the animation for the sprint looks kind of ridiculous. So what's here still alive? Uh, 3.3 and all the times I met them have been really supportive of the project. They, you know, they're big fans of stuff the community does. There's obviously complexities with giving certain things recognition. But, you know, I've met with
A
them,
lot
like, more
crewed
times than I
about
can
the
count,
than I had predicted.
and been invited
The
to see
captain
parts
really
of the
gave them
studio.
hell.
So,
If we can find Captain
243 has been
Keyes
pretty
and the
great
other
to us.
survivors, we have a chance to coordinate an effective resistance.
so Templar wants to know how come sometimes that cutscene doesn't play, and it's based on if there's any AI there. The game detects if the area is safe or not, and if it's safe, then it does the cinematic. If not, it doesn't.
They'll need your help.
More where that came from. Oh, that's what you do. What the?
Get the wolves from the frenzy. I was saying earlier, with this new vehicle health system, we can actually park the vehicle there and have it provide good cover. Because it can tank the small arms fire, as its health is always recharging. That's one of the big updates in 3.3, as well as the new vehicle health system. Oh, really? This guy survived the turret? Alright. I really love this area and the way this came out. This area, I don't think I've ever really talked about how we came up with this area. I know I have a vidoc on my channel, which you guys should check out, that talks about some of the areas we made. But this was actually based off an SPV2 area where there was like a giant cliff and a bridge on the right-hand side, but I was having a lot of fun messing around with only one half of it, so I was like to Arkin, who was doing some of the level design at the time, like, yeah, just like, let's do it like in a tight little forest and stuff, and put some structures down there, and I'll like figure out what to do with it. Uh-oh. Shaker, they're gonna chew up the hog. Oh wow, I'm surprised the hog's still alive. Pretty injured though.
The Marines are just inside. Careful of the guards.
There's another one. Want some more of this?
One more group of Marines to go, Chief.
But I love the different ways you can go about this fight. These are one of my favorite areas we did. And just being able to ramp up your Marines, and
That's all
I really like
Marines,
this area.
Chief. Good work.
Thanks, Cortana. Starting our approach.
Hey T, I meant to ask you to stop dominating the chat like that. So at one point we were talking about the Pelican blowing open that shield, or just making a rock slide, but we never got around to doing it. It'd be kind of annoying to try to do, but no one seems to ever complain about the shield, so, which I thought more people would. So a little funny thing, these cool little lights here, the only reason they exist is because there was like some really bad texture work. that's like basically underneath them, so we put those lights there to block it out. So the Prometheans will be in the open world project we're working on, which is called Halo Legacies, which will be like around a 15-hour open world adventure that you can do.
Echo 205 Cortana. I got a fleet of birds with reinforcements, but I can't take them down until those raids are
No jetpacks.
easier said than done.
Now this area is a lot more fun with the new health system. The wraiths are more dangerous. The hogs can take a little bit more damage. Just not direct hits.
Echo 205 Cortana. I got a fleet of birds with reinforcements, but I can't take them down until those raids are destroyed. Easier said than done.
Never thought about that for the grenade launcher, but it kind of wouldn't make sense to load the regular frags in there, so... I'm having some pretty close calls with these wraiths. I really love this section. I know I've said that before, but... Uh-oh. Woo, that was close. Did our hog survive? I don't think it did. I'm using the Gauss hog. I hate the Gauss hog.
Another phantom on approach.
Come on, Marine. my Marines. I was texting and driving,
Showtime!
which you should never do, even when playing Halo. I mean, they're really messing up the battlefield over here.
Oh, over here! Over here! Move now!
Echo 205 to Cortana. I've got a view of the base, but they've deployed an anti-air race on the upper level.
Nailed them!
It's one of the moments that I kind of wish we had silenced weapons in this campaign, like the Sounds pistol. Just oh, crap. So this is kind of a little interesting thing that we originally did, where the elevator was originally down here, but then I was like, it kind of functions as a tutorial on like pressing buttons, and it makes a place feel like it's occupied. I've seen a couple of playthroughs on YouTube where people just run in and fall down the elevator shaft and die, which I think is kind of funny. So yeah, you can choose your armor. I can actually set it up right now. Right now you have to do it via the console, but so when you see me now, I'll be wearing the classic Mark V.
If you can board and capture that anti-air race,
Paul,
you can shoot down any more
Paul
incoming
Soto.
options.
Two Betrayals are one of my favorites too. I mean, it's not for everyone. That and Maw seem to be the two most divisive levels, but I like them both a lot. Like, I get why people don't like them. I get why the people who don't like them don't like them, even though I really like those levels, because they're like very different than typical Halo. But I think that's why like they're really good additions too, because they do something new and interesting.
Guns against me.
And when we have 17 missions in this game, if you know 2 of them are misses for you,
Multiple inbound targets.
then like you know that's still like what, like an 87% of the missions you like or something like that. So now you see I'm wearing the classic Chief armor. See you later, Tio. Open world you guys won't be seeing for a while, but it is in development, and it's really cool. I actually think that the open world stuff, when you guys have it, you'll just completely forget about, you know, these 17 campaign missions. I'm really excited with what we're doing with it.
Thanks, Cortana. Starting our approach. I've spotted several pillars of smoke in the next valley. Can't promise you, but my guess is that's where we saw those other life pods land.
Let's go, Rocket Hog life. So the big changes in the new one are a new vehicle health system, skulls. I have one called the meat bag on right now. New visual effects and post-processing and better performance.
School is now in session.
Yeah, we've ported Halo 2 maps into CE. It's just not ideal.
Lifeboat detected. No sign of survival.
Yeah, the skull doesn't let your shields recharge once depleted, but it gives you like 7 times the health. So the new vehicle health system completely fixed any of those shield bugs, the overshield bug. So the elites won't have the AR battle rifle. Maybe you're thinking the jackals? Or the elite combat forms?
There are some
All
Marines
lighting has
hiding
been
in the hills
readjusted.
above the structure.
I mean, we're always going to be a dark game. That's the way we designed it to be. And that's not going to be changing. Second half of the game is more dark than the first, and other missions are going to be very bright.
About time you showed up. Everything's buttoned down, people. Night for me. Lock and load. Here's the one where they came from. Yeah, man. More over here. I'm on it.
So the Mantis was going to be a thing once, and we had the prototype asset for it. So it was kind of like throw it in a skull and let people have fun with it if they could go through the trials. The hog. Seriously? Definitely. Oops, I can't say that.
Let's roll. There it is. Right in hell. What the? Rail and cargo. Get me a damn angle.
Yeah, Marine. Someone's got to show you how to take out a weapon. My way. Well, it was a good effort. You know, elites will always use Covenant weapons. They'll use other Covenant races weapons like the Shredders and Brute Plasma Rifles, but they always use Covenant weapons.
I'll call in a dropship to pick them up.
One some more? Way to go!
Yeah, we should do it.
Punch it! More! Over here! Alright, let's do it. Over here! Where? Oh, yeah, baby!
We never really fight them over on one of these. I actually like this area. Maybe I'll reuse it and modify it for part of Legacies. Draw them up here.
Hey, leave some for me! That's what I'm talking about!
Let's make sure there are no Covenant hiding in the area.
This one, I just want the Pelican to come in and blow that dude away. The battle rifle doesn't have a full auto mode.
Echo 419 to Cortana, come in.
We read you, Echo 419. We have survivors and need immediate dust-off.
Roger, Cortana. On my way. I've spotted additional lifeboats in your area. One near a rock slide, and another near the cliff edge.
Yeah, the beam focus rifle has a new sound.
But it looks like there are more survivors. Acknowledged. We're on our way.
And we have a public beta going on in our Discord. Oh yeah, you guys were asking. Who was asking about the Chief Armor? There you go. You can see the Mark V remastered. You can also use Soy's version of it. And then you can also just have the traditional SPV3 one. We made some adjustments for the Elite design, but not in this version. This version, the Elites are still the same as they were in 3.2. I remember dueling with those Banshees was my favorite thing to do with this on the original Xbox.
Survivors detected.
We're not doing any design changes. This is really more of a maintenance update and a feature update for SPV3, but this will be the last one for the campaigns that we do. After this, it's all open world stuff. Uh-oh. Sorry, Marines. Marines. And you can play it now if you go to download the public beta in our Discord, but 3.2 is also still available for download as well. Do you have a favorite Marine line? Probably the thing about the dog. I would have been your daddy, but the dog beat me over the fence. That's probably my favorite one. Get real.
Some of them are wearing shirts. All right.
Man, that was a perfect shot from that Marine.
Damn straight.
What else we got going on?
Affirmative, Fohammer. We're ready for dust off. Approach when ready.
Yeah, spirits don't have exposed engines, though, so...
Warning. I picked up reports that the Covenant has located and destroyed the Pillar of Autumn's crash site. Good news is the captain is still alive. Bad news is that the Covenant pilot and pilot in command. Let's hurry and find the final lifeboat so we can link up with the rest of the survivors. Maybe they took cover in that structure. Let's check it out.
Oh man, he just nailed that elite. That was great. What would I want to add?
Can't hide from me. Let's do it.
I've called for
I'm
an
pretty
evac.
happy with the way it plays. There's a couple weapon ideas I would like to do, and it would just be nice to have less complexity to do some of the things that we do. Honestly, bigger memory limits, having more geometry per area would be the best thing. Better pipeline for getting content in. Man, that elite.
Take that!
Way to go. Find him.
They're up there. No, we won't be having one like that. The Marines being stunned is all part of the game. And this might be it for my stream for now. I do want to stream some of the Halo 1 beta at some point soon. I have some new equipment, so I can actually get you guys some decent footage of it, unlike last time where I had to do it via camera. Maybe I'll do that this evening.
Covenant Battle.net. I found Captain Keyes. He's being held on a Covenant cruiser. The Truth
But we'll
and
have more,
Reconciliation, a ship I disabled before we abandoned
we'll have
the
more
Ark.
stuff on
The Truth and
3.3 in the future,
Reconciliation
and we're making
touched
some
down
really
on
good
a
development
plateau
with it now.
roughly
So
300 kilometers
we
upstream.
expect it out before the end of the year. So thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll be back another time soon. Be sure to join the Discord if you want to get a copy of the newest version, because we are doing that public beta still.